Hey, we are just been listening to the live evidence of S, who was the ex-wife of Mark Jenner, the undercover police officer, was deployed into anti-fascist, anti-racist groups from 1995 until 2000. S was his wife at the time, whilst he was deceiving Alison into a long-term intimate relationship. I'm not alone. I'm joined off-screen by Lisa, who's been following the hearing with me. And what have you made of what we've heard?
Well, first of all, what a lovely woman. I mean, really warm, likable, approachable woman. I mean, considering she's up there talking about her entire deception, like many of the other women who, well, like all of the other women who were in relationships, the whole thing is about her deception from the officer, her husband, and from his managers who, you know, kind of deceived her into thinking that, you know, she was, her and her family were in danger to a certain extent. So there was that added pressure of thinking that not only are you there to, I mean, misogyny personified, you know what I mean? You're there to provide backup for his career, but also you're in a bit of danger, you know what I mean? So you can imagine the pressure that the wives felt. And I don't blame lots of the wives for not wanting to take part in this process, because it must be a massive re-traumatization. But
she is the only one of the wives who's taking part. Originally there was 3 at the start of the inquiry, but she's the only one who remained.
Yeah, and I don't blame people for dropping out at all, you know. So yeah, Jenna sounds like a bit of a well, nice enough father, but not very practical by the sounds of things. She said like he played with the kids and stuff like that, but she was obviously up to her eyeballs with the young family. So she's doing a hell of a lot at home, and he's going off to a really high pressure job, which actually turns out to be having a fucking great time with lots of these really sociable, intelligent people that he was spying on.
I mean, she just, I mean, the impression that she gives is the one of her being like incredibly overworked, doing a lot of extra housework and getting no real help around the family home. And being encouraged that she's not allowed to question it. She's not allowed to nag or complain, to put him under any sort of stress or pressure, because his job is so important.
And she's not allowed to talk to friends. She's not allowed to talk to family. You know, it's all very secretive. So she's got no external support to this pressure that she's being put under. So yeah, horrible situation for her. Obviously, I mean, it sounds like he spent a fair bit of time. I mean, some of them don't sound like they spent a lot of time at home, but he spent a bit of time in his real home, and then went to Alison's home after that and had fantastic, you know, life there too. So
it was interesting actually that in his written statement he claims that he was only home a few hours a day, Monday to Friday, when he was able to, if he was able to. She was like, no, he came home every Monday to Friday before 9 a.m. He stayed for the full day until about 5 or 6. He would do errands, help around the family home, played with the kids. They had an active marriage. You know, that the idea that he was only sometimes there is a nonsense. She rejected that completely.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, all credit to her, you know. She found out that they were using the identities of deceased children as their cover identities. She wholly disapproved of that, with very little reaction from Jenna. She said that was a slap in the face moment, really, finding out about that. Obviously, she didn't know what he was going off to do. She thought he was going off to do this really sort of courageous job, a job that needed doing, she said a couple of times. So that's been, you know, it's been the importance of this role has obviously been drilled into her. Which she is definitely questioning now.
Yeah, she talked about Bob Lambert, and like that, you know, him being like kind of, he was presented to her as someone who prevented bombings. She said he was like the father from the Railway Children, which was a reference I can't be honest, I don't get, but I got the impression, paternal. But like he was, you know, he was this like really somebody to be respected. That he was like really like some well-regarded character.
And now she says he was obviously a man of bad character. She used the word bad character. You know, she's on the nail. She also said that you know, about Jenna being signed off to go to these work trips, which were actually holidays with Alison many times. And now she says that they were given his managers signing those documents were giving him cover to do what he liked, were his words, her words, sorry.
It was quite interesting that actually that like it turned like she wasn't aware that all these holidays he was taking were actually he was taking out his own annual leave. Which meant like she always got the impression, the work was so important he didn't really get holidays like normal. But in reality, he was getting those holidays, but he was spending them with Alison rather than with her and the young children.
But I mean, she did say they had a fair few holidays as well. So, you know, he's having holidays with Alison in his cover identity. He's going home. He's having holidays with his wife, getting all that support from her. And so, yeah, and considering, you know, he's away at work and she's at home with the family, essentially working. So it didn't sound like she got many breaks. You know what I mean?
I mean, it also should be pointed out that, you know, for a period of time whilst he was deployed undercover, she was pregnant and gave birth to a child.
Yeah.
And she was asked, was he around more during that period? No. Yeah. Not at all.
Yeah.
No.
Work was too important. Just too important. Yeah. I mean, she comes across really well. She said a couple of things which have raised like a laugh or a bit of reaction from the public gallery. But she seems incredibly nervous when she gets a reaction from the public gallery. Like it's a reminder that she's doing this, you know. So I do really feel for her. Yeah,
there was a big reaction when she was asked about his cannabis use. She said, "Oh yeah, he told her that they all use cannabis, all the target group used cannabis, so he had to." Yeah. Which that was quite a big laugh.
Hilarious. He had to take seeds home and grow them. You know what I mean? He just had to because it was part of his work. But yeah, I guess we haven't got much time left, have we? But
it's only a short break. We had like an even shorter break earlier, which I didn't get a chance to go live in. So this one's a bit shorter than normal, even.
But I hope she sees this, and I hope she knows that we are 100% behind her. You know what I mean? She is coming across as such a lovely, warm, honest person, and she doesn't say a lot. She's not very verbose, you know, but she has this little habit of just slotting in these lines which are just perfect, just so quotable and just perfectly expressed. So she's a good witness, I think.
I think she comes as a very good witness. I mean, she gives the impression of someone who wasn't especially interested in his career at the time. I mean, she said it herself. She didn't have a lot of interest in it. She kind of thought it was none of her business. You know,
she's up the freaking wall by the sounds of things with the kids at home doing everything on her own. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And like she comes across as someone who kind of think, oh, you know, do the right thing. That seemed to be like kind of, she was like, oh well, this was an opportunity for him to like do some public service. It was a public good. You know, she had the impression he'd be saving lives, so therefore it was important. And you know, it wasn't really her business to be moaning too much about it.
Absolutely, yeah. She sounds like a very, very supportive person. Really, really good human being. She said Jenna looked happy to be going to meetings and stuff. Like, you know, he was actually really enjoying doing a good job.
And he was always really happy to hear from Bob.
Yeah. Yeah, the man of bad character. Yeah, he was just a charming little lion shit, isn't he? Let's be honest. That's how he comes across to the wives. You know,
one of the incidents that came up that Alison mentioned yesterday about this trip to Israel, and they came home early. What's really interesting is he didn't go home. In fact, he didn't go home for weeks.
Yeah,
and she didn't know where he was. Turned out that he was. He claimed he'd been in hospital. But even then he couldn't come home. He had to go back to his cover accommodation because, which he claimed was a shared house with a couple of teachers.
House, I know,
which is just such a nonsense. But what happened then? What happened after that trip to Israel? What was going on?
Yeah, well, he came back from Israel quite ill, didn't he? Genuinely quite ill.
Yeah.
Didn't he have pneumonia?
Supposedly.
So yeah, she talks about him waving these hospital papers just to kind of prove to her that he'd been in hospital, almost like he had to, and she was quite confused by that. She didn't think he had to prove that, you know. Yeah. I mean, it's Alison and S, you know, the two of them being deceived so heavily, and just is in that one scenario, you know, where he's been to Israel and he doesn't come back to the family home, and when he does, he's got to prove that he was ill, you know. I mean, the whole thing is just, God, it's a joke, isn't it, really? You know.
We're going to go back in. We should be hearing now in the next session about her reaction to finding out the reality, which came many years later after his deployment.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah. And hard on her, you know. I do feel for her, and I hope she knows that we are on her side in the public gallery, and full of admiration that she stayed the course, really.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, solidarity with S. I mean, she has been a victim as much as anybody.
Absolutely.
In all these deployments. All right, thanks for joining us. We better go back in. It's only a short break. Thanks to Lisa from Police by Satellite Lives for joining, and we'll see you in all a bit. Bye for now.